Everyone. Welcome to Dear Hallmark. My name is Dara, and I'm so glad that you took a few moments outside of your day to chill with me here. And normally I would be by myself, but today I am not by myself, you guys. If you're watching this via YouTube, you can see, and then if you're listening via podcast, you will hear soon that I have a very, very special guest inside the home of Dear Hallmark. We have a dear friend of mine, Doctor. Joey Oteng, sir, how are you doing? Welcome to the home of Dear
I'm doing
Hallmark.
really well. Thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Not you putting on your smooth jazz radio voice. What is going on?
We got to give the people what they want, always and forever. Come on.
So, Joey, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi, I'm Joey. I love Hallmark movies. One of my favorite things. Dara and I connected through our Hallmark Fan Leader program. Um, it's been an adventure.
Very much so.
Outside of Hallmark, I spend my time doing too many things all at once, but I love education. So I'm a professor in training at a law school, and I'm also a lawyer, and I'm doing my PhD right now. So I love kids. I love volunteering. I love cooking. Um, and I've been getting outside. We outside this summer, so it's been biking, rollerblading, and many a Hallmark movie. So it's been a good time.
And speaking of Hallmark movies, we've been in this passport to love vibe this month. We've been around the world and
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I want to ask you right off the bat, what are some of your favorite Hallmark destination movies? Because we had quite a
Uh,
few throughout the year, not like
Yeah,
back to back to back to back like this in a specific lineup, but we've
absolutely.
definitely had a lot of destination movies throughout the year. So, Joey, can you tell us a couple of yours?
That's so funny because I feel like there's like two definitions of destination. Is it
Mm.
in a different setting, or is it one of our, American heroes making their way somewhere else, a little bit exotic to fall into love, to find what they've been missing? So I've got a few.
Talk
You
to us.
know, my
Oh, I
number one,
oh I know. Mhm.
tens out the gate, her pen pal. I cannot explain to you all how much I love this movie. I feel like it changed my life. The chemistry is there. It is hot.
Mm.
It is passionate. It is so sultry. I've never seen someone brush powdered sugar from a beignet off someone's cheek so sensually and keep it PG. I said, wow, I'm not well. This is something else. The movie is so good. It's invaluable to rewatch time and time again. That's a number one for me. Uh, as luck would have it, Joanna
Mm.
Garcia. Oh my goodness. And you got oh my God, what's this man's name from oh, what's the British movie? Downton Abbey. There we go. One of the
Mm.
characters from Downton Abbey. This movie got me to literally book a ticket to Ireland 2 days after I watched it the first time. And I flew a month later and it changed my life. I was crying on a mountain within 30 days of watching this movie. It was that good. I loved it. The landscapes, the views, the little vibe, the small Irish town. And when I went to Ireland, it was exactly like that. People were so vulgar
Wow.
and yet so kind at the very same time. If I could live anywhere in the world that wasn't where I am right now, I think it would be Ireland because of that movie. I loved it.
Wow.
Yeah, game changer. Um,
Wow.
Man, what else would I give you? Oh, my holiday movies. Okay. A Heidelberg Holiday from this past year and Merry Scottish Christmas. Both of them really, really good. I love them. Heidelberg Holiday was an unexpected favorite for me. I really enjoyed it. The chemistry, it was funny. Like the cameos, I can't say enough about it. And the kiss was early on and it was passionate. And I said, oh, we're doing this.
Oh.
This is how we're doing it. And then you know how I feel about Merry Scottish Christmas because my good Scotsman came in, fell in love so quickly. He did everything. He laughed real big. The
Hmm.
sibling tension, the castles, the views, the dancing, the silly cameo. Yeah, that one's going to be a rewatch for me every single year for Christmas. Like I can't highlight how much I really love that movie. Those are my four. How about you? Are there any that come to mind for you?
Immediately, Unthinkably Good Things. The
Yeah, yeah,
inaugural
yeah.
Mahogany movie that stars Karen Pittman, Joyful Drake, Erica Ash, Lance Gross, and some other people. But we are in Tuscany and we are getting our entire melanated life, and it's just
Mm,
amazing. I
mm,
recently rewatched it, like literally a couple of weeks ago.
hmm.
Her Pen Pal is up there for me. I recently rewatched that Memorial Day weekend. I would be
Ooh,
remiss if I didn't mention Summer Villa with Hilary Burton and Victor
yes.
Webster.
I just watched that one for the first time. Oh, sleeper hit, sleeper hit. I was like, oh, this, Victor, I didn't know your game was like this. I knew, but I didn't know. That one was
Yeah,
so much fun. Yeah. The passion, the oh my God, the chemistry,
yeah,
the
it's
blueprint. That's
amazing.
actually should be the blueprint. Like,
It's amazing. It's amazing. One personally for me is Love on Iceland, because Scandinavia has a special place in my heart. That's the first
yeah,
area internationally that I traveled abroad to. I studied abroad there in grad school. And so
oh, I
I've
didn't know
always wanted
that.
to go to Iceland and
That's on my
specifically
list too.
seeing the Northern Lights in Iceland. So
Yes.
when that part came up in the movie, I like teared up because I was like, God, this is
Wow.
this is me. Like this is what I wanted to do.
That's
So
so
I
amazing.
I
Jeez.
definitely love that one. And I would have to say, I'm trying to think of one that's like, okay, I did Iceland, France, Italy. Yeah, I think that, oh, Love, Romance, and Chocolate with Lacey
Yeah,
Chabert and Will Kemp.
yeah,
A
that's a
nice
good one.
Valentine's Day
Very good.
destination movie. That one is really, really good too. Oh, and I just recently rewatched oh my gosh, is
Which
it Love
one?
and Bloom? It's with Victor Webster and this other young lady, and there it's the perfume people, like
Oh,
like
yeah, the one
he's
that
the
started. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's I
Oh, I
recently
love that
rewatched
one.
that.
What's the
That
name for
one's
that?
really good too.
Their chemistry was amazing. Chantel Van Satin,
Yes.
who to me literally looks like Meghan Markle. Like they have such similar faces to me.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
really look at them, they really do. That movie is so good. Th- I feel like I watched that and I got into like I'm a big scents person.
Yeah,
And
me
so
too.
like it got me to try some new things and
Yeah.
I like layer my like colognes that I wear. That movie really got me into it. I really liked it.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Oh,
So
good
it's
taste. Oh.
interesting that we talked about all these destinations because specifically for June, Hallmark took us to four distinct places. We started off in Malta, then we went
Mm.
to Paris with Bethany Joy Lenz. Then we were in Greece stomping olives for some olive oil, and then we
Mm.
ended it with Italy. And so Joey, I wanted to ask you, out of Malta, Paris, Greece,
Mm.
and Italy, which destination would you go to? Would your passport be stamped at for love?
That's a good question. Ooh, I got these passport pages open. So
Listen.
I think I'm going to I think I'm going to Malta. There's something mysterious about Malta to me. There's like a
Ooh.
rich history. It's like its own country, but it's also like, part of Europe. There's layers to it. And I feel like Malta does something distinct that the others don't. Like I feel like in some point in my life, I'm going to make it to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Greece I could do. Italy will always be there, right? Get me to Malta. Book me
Mm.
immediately. Get me first class. I've never flown first class, but I feel like I deserve it,
Mm.
Out of the four, which one would you go to? Where would you be?
Well, my background is the Amalfi Coast in Italy. So
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
am on that first class ticket to Italia. Take me to Italy. I don't care if it's Rome, Venice.
Oh
Oh, A
man.
Very Venice Romance. How could I forget that one?
Oh,
That I
yeah,
just
yeah.
rewatched. That was probably my third or fourth time watching it. That's becoming my favorite every time I like literally it keeps moving itself up
Wait,
the
you know
ladder.
what? Let me bring up Mix Up in the Mediterranean. Let me bring up Mix Up in the Mediterranean. Let me not forget.
All right.
Because that is that also Malta? Is that right?
So yeah.
I think it's Malta.
With
Listen,
Jessica
you know
Lowndes and Jeremy
I love
Jordan.
Jessica Lowndes. Jeremy Jordan
Yeah.
can do no wrong, and he's playing
Yeah.
twins. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That movie is so
Yeah.
much fun. Jeremy is a silly little man, and he does it so well. Um, I really like that movie. Yeah, it's great. And the cooking
Yeah.
competition, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a sleeper hit.
I hope he does
Yeah,
a Christmas movie this year because we didn't get one from him last year.
we need it. We deserve it
I
because he's
agree.
great.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, Joey, let's pack our bags, at least for this segment, and go
Okay.
to a small village in Italy for two scoops of Italy, which stars Hunter King and Michelle Rosiello. Now, the premise that Hallmark Channel gives us on their website, they say Two Scoops of Italy
Mm,
is about this. When an American chef travels to a quaint village in Italy for inspiration, she falls in love with the flavors, culture, gelato, and the Italian gentleman who helps her discover it all.
hmm.
So, Joey, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the movie, what were your
Absolutely.
expectations going in watching this?
Okay.
Like, what were your feels? Yeah.
Yeah, listen. So I love Hunter King. She's one of my favorites of the new crop for Hallmark Channel, and I think she does it so well. I think
Mm-hmm.
she embodies the energy, the wonder, the curiosity, and she's gonna hit her cue. She's gonna hit her tears. She's gonna
Mm-hmm.
laugh real big, and she's
Mm-hmm.
gonna sell it. So she's always going to be. If she's in the movie, I'll be watching it. You know
Mm.
how I feel about Santa Summit. You know how I feel about The Professional Bridesmaid, which takes place right here in Columbus, Ohio.
Come on.
Uh, no, she has all hits, no misses for me. So I
Mm-hmm.
saw she was going to be in it. I said, this is the one. Let's watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I love a chef. Hallmark loves their chefs. You know, it's usually Brendan Penny, but we'll
Come on.
take Hunter in this role.
Yes.
And what I like when they do the destination movies is they usually bring local talent, which I
Mm-hmm.
think makes the movie so much better because they not only
Mm-hmm.
bring the culture, but they bring the language, they bring the kind of like body language that is a little bit different. There's something a little special. And I
Mm-hmm.
even took notes about the body language in this movie because I was seeing something a little fun, a little fresh. It felt like a sprig of mint. You know what I mean? Just something like to cleanse your palate a little bit. And I said, oh,
If you will.
I was unfamiliar with your game, sir, because you're putting it on. I don't think the previews did it justice because it
Mm.
was fun. It felt we were transported. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
think these movies do really well is they take you to a brand new place. I'm fully immersed. Like you could tell me, oh, I can feel the ocean air. I can hear the gossip from down the street. I can see the budding romance in the background. Like that felt amazing to me from just the preview. And then you watch the movie and it exceeds your expectations there.
So eloquently put.
Mm.
So I echo your sentiments when it comes to Hunter. If she's in it, I'm watching it.
Hmm.
You don't even gotta try to
Yeah.
sell. I don't care what it's about. If she's in it, I'm watching it. Much like you, I enjoy her and Rhiannon Fish give me the same energy. I like both
You're
of them
right.
together.
Oh, good taste. Good taste.
Both
Yeah.
of them together. That's why when they played sisters for the Nikki and Nora mystery, that was brilliant. I'm hoping we get
Hmm.
another Nikki and Nora installment soon.
Please.
But so it's Hunter, Italy, and Gelato. So I was like,
Hmm.
what else do you need for Dara to be in a movie but that? Like, I'm sold. Like, just put me on a gondola. I'm there. You know what I mean? So I was all in for this movie. It could have been about her become like I genuinely didn't even care what it was about. All I
Right.
saw was Gelato, Italy, and Hunter, and I was like, let's just watch. Let's just watch it. So I was all in. I love Hunter gives me this like sweet,
Hmm.
flirty, like I just like ultra feminine. You know what I mean? Like girl, not girly
Yeah.
because she's a grown woman,
Yeah.
but it's just something
Yeah.
fun and flirty about her
Hmm.
energy that I like. We saw it, and what I'm liking it to is her in the Professional Bridesmaid, and even a little bit in Hidden
Yes.
Gems, where she played
Oh, yeah.
opposite
Yeah.
Bo Murchoff, who's another one of my favorite
Hmm.
newcomers
I like Bo
to the
too.
network. But yeah, so I was very, very excited for this movie.
That's so real.
So, Joey, give us
Yes.
your overall take, your overall rating. Not rating, we'll save the rating for last,
Okay.
but give us your overall impression of the movie.
Okay. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie from start to finish. It felt like young, hip, captured the essence, but also had heart. and I think the heart was unexpected, and I wish they had made the heart more prominent.
Mm,
That's what I would say about this movie. I think there's trade-offs with this movie.
mhm,
Because it's a destination wedding, they had to have a slim cast, right?
mhm.
So some of the things didn't add up. So
What do you
like
mean?
her restaurant, I love that she had
Okay.
a platonic best friend. I was like, oh, who is this guy? What's going on?
Mhm,
Her investor, and he's only on the screen. She had a sister who was in like one scene, and then they
mhm,
disappear for the whole movie. So the
mhm,
rest of the cast is in Italy. So
mhm,
that to me is interesting.
mm,
I felt there could have been more of her backstory to understand why she's having so much trouble with her restaurant to really be invested in it.
mhm, mhm.
And there's of course there's going to be the arbitrary like deadline of, oh, I my dad wants me to pull out my money. I'm like, okay, sir, okay, money bags. um,
Money bags, yeah.
like, what's going on, Mr. Monopoly? Like,
Right?
you're gonna be okay. Um, and I think the plot that comes from being in Italy steps it up. For me, grief was always gonna get me.
Mhm,
He has lost his mom. He comes back to like take care of his dad. I was like, that's too real. I'm feeling it.
mm.
Um, and there's so many like powerful moments in the little sentiments that they say. And this is what I love about the destination weddings, because in
You mean
Italian, those
movie? Because you say
yes,
destination weddings.
yes, destination weddings, destination movies. There we go. I'm June weddings. That's where I'm at. The sentiment of how they say uh, different kind of colloquialisms really resonates with me because we don't have the same kind of like sayings in English or the same kind of backstories that
What's an
make what they've
example?
said really important. Well, I think for me, it was a couple of things. Your roots growing shallow here. This
Mm,
idea of like where you are born shouldn't constrict what you do,
mm,
right? Like we always talk about like settling down and planting roots,
mhm,
but I think even like the nomenclature, the naming
mhm,
aspect of it. Aldo being coming from a line of Aldos all the way down to Giancarlo.
mhm,
Giancarlo is distinct. It made me think
mhm,
about my culture and how we do names and like
mhm,
how your name kind of determines who you are.
mhm.
And just kind of like I don't know, like the prophecy of his mom saying, like, oh, you're different. You're meant to go somewhere else.
Yes.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
name you something specifically different.
Yeah.
And his dad explaining that to him in this pivotal moment of
Mm,
you're meant to go elsewhere. That to me was huge, right?
mm,
Dreaming of something more and but instead staying to care for the parent who's left behind.
mhm,
All those sentiments, I was like, wow, this is really like resonating with me. But it's a rom-com, so it really
mm,
gets downplayed. And I think that to me
mm,
was challenging. The only other aspect I really had an issue with, I found difficult, was the beginning. There's like these establishing shots that are really well done, is beautifully
mhm,
shot. We get this quick Santa Monica Pier, we get the
mhm,
restaurant, which looks amazing. Then we go to
mhm,
Italy, and we have this like little backstory of like, there's no meet cute.
mm.
She stumbles in. I'm like, are you not going to help her with her suitcase? Sir, you're rude. I said, I know your father and mother didn't raise you that way. Get up and help this woman,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm like, oh, when are they going to start their connection? Because they don't do well. The gelato, she kind of rates his gelato and he's mad about it. And
Right.
then they go play bingo and he's still mad about it. I'm like, oh, like what is going
Right.
on? They honestly could have skipped that entire part and started when they actually started working together, where they have the, oh, I'll help you, you help me. Because that's the
Yeah.
trope. That did well. And I was like, what was the beginning part for it? It didn't add
Yeah.
anything to the movie. And it was like, I want y'all to be in love immediately because then the first time he got up close to her, he did this Italian kind of like, I don't know if it was like breathing regimen that he was just, I said, oh, okay, sir, here we go. I'm in it. And that's when the movie changed for me. That's when I knew,
Okay.
okay, sign still delivered, roll the tape because I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest with you. I did not watch the second half of this movie. It was
Oh,
very hard for me to get through this one, Joey.
okay.
Which was odd. Like, and I tried to watch it twice, and
Hmm.
and I still stopped at the same spot. So
Yeah.
I'm what like it ran a little slow for me. Um, and I mean, we are in, like, a beautiful sleepy town, like,
Mhm.
village, and I don't know if that was it, like, there for me, it just wasn't enough interest, like, so I'm going in between, like, is my attention span getting shorter, or is this,
Mm.
because the whole social media philosophy of, like, reels and stuff, like, is my attention
Mhm.
span getting shorter, or is this movie just slow for me?
Mm.
And so I, watching it live on Saturday night, I muted this. I didn't even watch the second half and I was just on
Mm.
YouTube. So then I tried to watch it in the morning because
Okay.
I'm like, okay, maybe this is more of like a Monday thing. And
Mm.
25 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I was like, all right, I'm into it. And then it's that 50 to 60-minute mark when she gets there. And that's kind of when I get sleepy. And
Yeah.
so I totally agree with you in terms of the stakes being like I wanted to did she already have this trip booked and her sister was just like, go ahead and take it any
Like,
like that
what?
was something I wanted to know more about.
Yeah.
I agree. I wanted to know more about like how and again, she could have went into this in the second half and I just not know. Does
Mm.
she talk about like how she got into the restaurant business and, like, what made her
No.
start that restaurant? Because I
No.
think that would've given me more to care about when it comes
Mhm.
to her. And
Mhm.
also too, we just saw that same kind of trope in Greece where
Yeah.
she's there and she helps him get his restaurant started,
Mhm.
and then he's helping her get experience so that she can get this promotion back in America. So
Yeah.
it almost mimicked that as well. The only reason why I say Paris, even though she's helping him in his cheese shop, the only reason why I
Mm.
would say the Paris movie is not like that is because she's going on this eat, pray. It's like literally an eat, pray,
Mhm.
love journey where she's trying to find out more about herself. And so she's
Mhm.
doing something that she passionately loves, which is working with cheese. Like she loves this specific
Yeah.
cheese from
Yeah.
Paris. And so that's what resonated me to that movie. Like that's why that movie resonated with me so much,
Mhm.
and inspired me so much. But this one, I just the what you said too, the meet cute, and I'm like, we get to the tambale or the bingo night, and I'm like, wait, why is he mad at her? Wait,
Correct.
are we still mad at the gelato?
That's what I
Like that's
said.
not it. Get over it, bruh. Like you Italian, you supposed to just let it roll. At least this that's what I thought. But it was hard for me to get invested in it.
Mm.
The one thing that I did appreciate though, I enjoyed the moments where as she was reading, she inserted herself into
Mhm.
the plot of that book. I thought that that was
Mhm.
cute. But for the most part, it was rough for me to get through in
Yeah.
all honesty.
I think you've hit on some points. It had, like, multiple identities, like, we have that subplot of she's literally reading they said it was Eat, Pray, Love before it was Eat, Pray, Love. I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, didn't we just see that?" And she
Mhm.
has these, like, glimpses back and forth. I'm like, "Oh, that's kinda cool." But like you said, we don't get enough of her backstory. We get more of his backstory than we do hers, which is
Mhm.
but she's the main character, right? So,
Mhm.
that's challenging to me. And I also think about, like, um, the destination movies.
Mhm.
The destination can become its own character, and it can do
Mhm.
a lot of heavy lifting. And I think that's what they
Mhm.
wanted here of like, look, it's beautiful. And I'm like, okay, but this is not a screensaver. You know what I mean? I'm trying to watch some action go
Mm.
down. So
Mhm.
um I was even thinking about like there's not really like a big love decoration. For me, I have a note on my phone for Hallmark's best love declarations, and he says something I really like. I've never shown anyone this before, and that to me, that's a really big deal of like something
Mm.
that you've been doing for your life, but no one else knows about it, and you show it to the person that you love.
Mhm.
And it also does a little classic Hallmark where it's meet someone, fall in love, and hey, change your whole life. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you move here or I move there to California, to Italy,
Mhm.
friend. I don't know about all that because your connection was meaningful, but was it strong enough for you to be like, oh, this is my person? I don't
Mm.
know. I don't know. I wasn't sold on that part.
You know what's interesting, Joey? We got that in 3 out of the 4 movies where the heroine moves to that destination. So in
Hmm.
Paris, she moves to France, but that one
Wow.
seemed more believable again because we knew
Hmm.
her. Like she was just tired of corporate American life and she wanted something new and something fresh and she wanted a new chapter. And so that at least to me, I know for some people it may have seemed unrealistic, but I guess because I work in corporate America, I
Mm.
completely relate to what Bethany's character what Ella was going
Absolutely.
through in that
Yeah.
movie, which is why that movie resonated with me so much. And then in
Mm.
Greece, she originally goes over there to just visit her mom because she got fired. And so
Okay.
she's like, let me go over here, woosah. But she ends up helping this dude open a restaurant in two
Mm.
weeks. And then because her job actually wants her back for this promotion or something. And so, but she's like, actually, I'm gonna stay over here. And so,
Mm.
and then now we have this one where she just stays over there. So, and it's funny because in Malta, Andrew was kind of the main character. Like he was first in the credits. He was the one that was
Mm.
in front in the poster, but he was only over like because he's an archaeology professor. And so
Mhm.
he was over there just to help with the big, to help the dig of the
Okay.
big thing. I don't want to spoil it, of the big
Yeah.
thing that he found over there. So it wasn't like he wasn't moving over there.
Mhm.
It was kind of understood that he would be there for a good minute, but who knows what would happen after that good minute. So
Mm.
that's the only movie where the like the hero or the heroine didn't move
Interesting.
to the
Interesting.
destination that they were at. Yeah, I think that that's very, very interesting.
Mm.
Wait, do you see yourself like, and I know, we have to suspend reality for a
Yeah.
moment, but
Absolutely.
would you ever see yourself moving to Malta or the French countryside or the Italian countryside or Ireland or like do you see yourself being that
That's
as like the
such a good
hero of your
question.
own movie, Joey?
Man, I mean, it's interesting because there's so many factors, right? Like for me, it'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, my career, my family, I'm used to this American way of life. So many of the
Yeah.
things we do here are so unique. Like,
Yeah.
um, I mean, cars is such a good example, or
Yeah.
having things instantaneously. Like I think about like Amazon Prime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like I couldn't deal with not getting movies first. What do you mean? Like Bad Boys 4 came out and we had to wait a month because I'm in Ireland. I don't
Yeah.
know, sir. I need the spoilers on the internet. You know what I mean? Like Bridgerton. I got to see that stuff immediately. So that's interesting to me. I mean, I could see myself in like Australia, New Zealand, Dublin, maybe Johannesburg, South Africa, something like that. But that's so challenging. I, yeah, like even this movie, I mean, the way of life is so different. I
Yes.
love the community aspect. That's how it was in Ireland too. Like
Yeah.
everyone knows your business, but they take care of each other.
Yeah.
They kind of open and close when they feel the need to. People have better
Yes.
work-life balance. Uh,
Yes.
Kids are more free to just roam around.
Yes.
Um, that to me, I really, really appreciate. I wish we had more of that. I think because of
Yeah.
how big our cities are, and
Yeah.
people don't really have their like insular communities or neighborhoods because, oh, if you don't have a grocery store or a library
Yeah.
or public transportation, I gotta go 25 minutes away to go to Trader Joe's. That's not my Trader Joe's, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
going to see those people. I'm not going to have a third place. Where I think Hallmark movies, really, if you're going to write a dissertation about them, it's about a love letter to small towns and what does genuine human connection look like? What does community give us that we don't get from the way that we're currently living in isolation?
Ooh, we could go on a whole tangent on that because
Hmm.
I find as I get older, I and we talked a bit offline before we hit record on this. Like
Mm.
the only time that I've been outside of the United States was, well, I shouldn't say that. I did a cruise to the Bahamas, but I was there for like a day. So I sometimes I include that, sometimes I don't.
Mm.
Because the Caribbean is like some of it, is United States. So like I don't
Yeah.
count that. So in grad school, I studied abroad over Copenhagen was home base. and then we spent a week in Oslo and then a week in, Stockholm.
Mm.
And so I being there for 2.5 months,
Mhm.
I really got like it was so interesting because the biggest culture shock was actually when I came back
Wow.
and not while I was over there. Like,
Mm.
I got so used to the sun woke me up. I
Wow.
never needed an alarm clock. The sun always woke me up because of and I think
Mm.
it's specific to this country because of how far north they are. Their
Mhm, mhm.
summer days are longer. So the sun is out
Yeah.
till about 10 PM, and then it's up at like 4 AM. So I would be up at like 5, 6 thinking that I missed
Mm.
my classes, but it was actual like because of how harsh the sun was coming in, you know? But I say all that to
Wow.
say, much to what you were saying with
Mm.
people opening and closing their businesses whenever they wanted to. Like
Mhm.
there was a coffee shop that I frequented where I would always get my porridge and coffee. And that's she would she would say, "Oh, I'm glad you came in because I was about to close." I was like, I thought you closed at 5. She was like, "Yeah, I'm about to go hang with my friends." I said, "Well, live your life. Like, live
Mhm.
your li like, there is no hustle and bustle." And I find myself
Correct.
as I'm getting older, I am getting more detached to this American hustle dream, like
Oh,
this
absolutely.
American hustle
Yeah.
grind. So if I were to answer the question, like, would I move to an international in a heartbeat? Like if God came down as Jesus again and said, "Dara,
Mhm.
I need you in the Amalfi Coast, or I need you in Singapore, I need you in England,"
Immediately,
or whatever,
yes.
I would be on the I don't even need to be first class, put me back in the bathroom, and I will be on the first thing smoking because I just think I'm over our lifestyle. I'm
It's true.
over our because it's so draining
Oh, yeah.
emotionally, physically,
Absolutely.
mentally, spiritually.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people are getting burnt out at a quicker rate. And
Oh, yeah.
even we're not even adding social media to the mix. We're
Mhm.
not even adding social constructs, political
Correct.
tenseness to the mix. Like
Mhm.
it's just in living, being a human being in the United
It's
States
so true.
is rough in this
Yeah.
day and age.
That's
And
real.
I wanna control alt delete and go
Yeah.
somewhere else. I would
'Cause
in a heartbeat.
there's so much to be said there. I'm like, yeah, I could literally talk about this for days. But I will say, much like I mean, God, if I was gonna do my PhD over again, I'd probably
Mm,
do like media studies and I'd write about Hallmark movies because not only is it the power of small towns, but
mm,
it's almost anti-corporate. Most
mhm.
Hallmark movies are anti-corporate, right? It's big
Yeah.
city lawyer or person who works for a big box toy store finds like the
Wow.
meaning of mom and pop shop
Mm.
or
Yeah.
making your own homemade or like
Yeah.
supporting
Oh,
your local
wow.
businesses. It's really like it's very clear, right? To me, like
Wow.
knowing
Yeah.
your neighbor's name and showing up for them and caring about them. And I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense, right? Like getting away from the big city, you got to go to the small town, or even if it's in a big city, it's finding your people in the city so you can
Yes.
feel something, do something
Yes.
meaningful, give back. Like that is the underlying like message of so many of these movies. And I mean, I resonate with that true because I mean, other cultures really do it differently. And
Mhm.
what really gets to me, I think what we can take from these destination movies is that I wish more people could travel
Yeah.
in the US. A lot of
Oh,
people have not had the opportunity.
yes.
And I sometimes forget how much of a privilege it is to have been
Mm,
able to not only get out of my city, but my state, the
mm,
country, like to be on
mm,
another continent. I
mhm.
did not realize how many people have not left Ohio, let alone the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, because when you go other places, you realize we could be doing things differently. Number one, like
Yeah.
politically, socially, all those things could be different. But then also the way that people treat each other. Like when I went to Dublin, Ireland, I was supposed to take a hike. My tour guide, much like a Hallmark movie, didn't show up. Kind of funny. I was like, oh, this is silly. It's like 6 a.m. The local coffee shop owner, she comes over and she was like, oh, what's your name? I'm like, her name is Rebecca. She gives me a coffee. She gives me a muffin. We're sitting, we're talking about life. And I'm like, I don't even know why, but I was just getting emotional, just like talking to her. And she was like, if he doesn't show up, that's just Owen, Eoin, Owen, very Irish. He doesn't show up,
Yes.
that's just Owen. I'll take you. And I said, oh. don't you have to work?" She was like, "No, I'll make it happen." There's another guy who comes over. He's making sure all the bathrooms in the parks along the mountain are clean, and he's from South Africa. He was like, "Oh, hey, my brother." I was like, "Oh, what up? Where you from?" He was like, I'm South African. I'm like, I'm Ghanaian. He was like, cool. Do you need help? I was like, sure. Drives me up this mountain, stops his entire day. We were together for like 4 hours, drives me up the
Okay.
mountain, lets me get out, and I take pictures, drops me up at the top. He says, "Oh, take the number 31 bus. It'll take you back to the city, but I want you to sit here. Like, I feel like you have something on your heart to like get out. Just be here."
Whoa.
Oh my God. I'm like, I get
Ooh.
to the top of this mountain and I'm like, I see over the channel, it's foggy, and I have never cried so hard in my life. Like, I had this moment of like, okay, I'm going through this grieving process. Like, I was just about to finish law school. I was graduating in a week.
Mm,
And I'm like, look at all that you've been through. Look at what you've been. But look at all these people. People can just like tell on your spirit. And I don't think we're going to get that in the United States where people can like read you because they're so in tune with their community, other people, their emotions, the empathy, the compassion that was demonstrated in that moment. And I sat there. I said what I need to say. I cried. I took the bus down to the city. And then he met me later for dinner. He brought his wife and kid to the city. And I'm like, this is a complete total stranger. You know what I mean? Like
Joey,
that is such a profound like human connection experience. You know? Like,
I
yeah,
am speechless. I am speechless. That is the most beautiful thing I've heard in a
it
while.
it really yeah, it really got to me. And I that was the first time I'd ever traveled by myself as well.
Whoa.
And I have never felt more brave in my entire life. That changed my life for the better. I have never felt like I was holding myself back. I felt
Mm,
free. Like these movies really speak on that of going to someplace
yeah.
by yourself. We're not going to go meet people. You're not going to a wedding. You're going to experience, just experience.
Yeah.
If you, if I give people any advice, it'd be to move somewhere by yourself, somewhere new you don't know anybody, or to travel by yourself because you will never be more brave. You'll
Mm,
never learn to enjoy the difference between being alone versus lonely, like resonating
mm,
with yourself, enjoying your own companionship, and
mm.
understanding why you are worthwhile as you are, than traveling by yourself. I said, "Oh, I can do anything." I feel like I don't have fear anymore. I'm like, I can do it. I've
Wow.
done worse. I've been through scarier things. And it was traveling when I went to Ireland because of that movie that got me to feel that way.
What
Yeah.
what's a destination that you hope to get to?
Oh
Whether
my
it's by
gosh.
yourself, with a companion,
Ooh,
or whatever.
I would
What's something
love,
that you still want to go to?
man, I would love to go to Egypt. I think Egypt,
Ooh,
like Cairo, to see the
yeah,
pyramids would be amazing. I would love to do
yeah,
Thailand. I think there's so much there.
yeah,
Um, I'm Ghanaian, but I've never been, and I would
yeah.
love to see. I mean, just where the ships took off from. Like you can
Mm,
tell there's places that have like this spirit about them that something
mm,
big has happened here. Or to see where the village where my dad was born. There's
mm,
so much there. Or like,
yeah,
I mean, when I went to Dominican Republic 2 weeks ago for a wedding, and
yeah.
when I got off the plane, some of the staff at the airport was like, "Are we related? You look like me." And I said, "Hmm, this is something else." I said, "Wow." It was so like I was like, they're like, which part of West Africa are you from? I said, "How do you know that?" They said, "Oh, your nose."
Wow.
I said, "Wow." And I'm like, the equator, like there's such a connection. I'm like, Pangea is real, number one. Because you're eating plantain, I'm eating
Wow.
plantain. What do you know about plantain, right?
Right.
Like it was such a, I've never felt more
Wow.
connected to people, and I have to go see where my family came from. Where
Yeah.
would you go? Like, where do you hope your eyes see in your lifetime?
Mm. I talked about Iceland.
Hmm. Hmm.
I would love to. My mom just found out, first of all, she did an ancestry thing and she's
Okay.
20% European.
Oh.
And a bulk of that consists of Scottish ancestry. So
Hmm.
now that makes me
Wow.
want to A, do an ancestry test
Mhm.
B, visit Scotland and see what else is going on over there. Cause I'm like,
Wow.
first of all, I didn't expect my mom and I, she's probably like just literally a shade darker than me. But my
Mm.
sister is a
Mhm.
couple of shades lighter than me.
Wow.
She's definitely on the like yellow golden.
Okay.
Sure, yeah, she looks like a number two pencil. Um, I love you, Ayana. And so I know whatever, like even her hair, my
Mm.
sister's hair is much more fine,
Okay.
whereas mine's is much more coarse. So
Yeah.
hearing my mom have 20% European ancestry and then seeing
That's
my sister,
interesting.
it makes
Yeah.
sense. But I'm
Mhm.
so curious, A, how much of that European ancestry is in me. And then B, just honestly, I want to go everywhere. It's
Yeah.
so hard to pinpoint a spot. I know Iceland
Mhm.
has my heart. Finland is
Mm.
gorgeous. The castles of Scotland, the English countryside. I would love. I've been watching this woman named Hart on, and she's, you want to talk about a crazy rich Asian? That woman, she's a Filipino
You
beast,
see,
and she
yeah,
was just in Singapore, and so now I want to go to
Singapore.
Singapore because the
Yeah,
that thing, I was like, whoa, I was
a different
blown
world.
away. And it's like an
Wow.
hour-long video of her just traipsing
Mm.
around Singapore. And it's now,
Wow.
mind you, again, she's crazy rich Asian. So she's showing us the, the finer things in life as it pertains to
Mhm.
Singapore. But still, I've never seen anything about Singapore. So I would love to even travel over there.
That'd be amazing.
Australia, like literally just like I
Australia.
would go anywhere, but I think my heart's just like the two places are definitely the Amalfi Coast in Italy and then
Okay,
Iceland to see
that's
the Northern
amazing.
Lights. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to hit Scotland in
Yeah.
October. That's my it's tentatively I hopefully everything lines up. I'm gonna go. Merry Scottish Christmas got me. I said I gotta go. So why not? So I'm
I'm
hoping to
so
go.
jealous.
It's cheaper. So I was like, let me do it. I was gonna do it in July, and then I said, oh, let me go in October instead. So if it's not October, I'm gonna go maybe over New Year's. That's my plan. Yeah. I just want to be on or I might go to Switzerland or Geneva because the trains, love trains. I gotta, you know what? We need a train movie. I need someone to fall in love on a train. Let me not be giving these people my ideas for free anymore because that would be something.
Were we
Like
separated
taking
at birth? I'm sorry.
across
Hi, my
country.
name is Dara.
Listen,
Because
that'd be something. A cross country, like, or cross continent train trip. Even, you could even do it in the US, but I think Europe would be amazing for a movie, but also just a trip. Like, I would love to do that. That's what I want to do
yes,
by train. Yeah, that's my goal.
dates. I want to do
We
two
gotta
types of
go.
train trips. I want to do one up the New England coast, like start from Maine and or I don't forget who's higher, Maine or Vermont,
Is it
but
Burlington? Yeah.
whichever one is higher, start there and come down and end in PA. And then when I get to Philly, go
Oh, you should.
across the country.
You definitely should. I've done Burlington, Vermont to DC. 13
Ooh,
hours. That was amazing. It was
wait,
so
that's it?
cool.
It's only 13
Yeah,
hours?
it was only 13 hours. The East Coast is now so close by. I was looking at trips to go to either from like Seattle to Vancouver to, oh, there's some like national parks up in the Rockies,
Yes.
or to go from like LA to Vancouver. They have, listen, Amtrak is not playing around. They have some pretty cool like booked trips. You can even do like Philadelphia to Cleveland, Chicago, all the way to Yosemite. Like you could, they even have like a 28-day itinerary. They have a 28-day one. I said you sleep on the train every once in a while and you get off. You have a couple days in the cities. I'm actually trying to go with my dad. He loves trains too, and I think he would really enjoy it. That's an listen. If I come into somebody, I'll send you on the trip because you on the that would be amazing. Like that's my biggest gripe about the United States, other than so many other things. But our train systems, if we had better trains, I would love it because trains are the way to travel. You get to see stuff, sleep the train.
Yes.
But yeah, originally for my birthday, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna drive to Chicago and then take the train to Seattle and then come back just to like see the parks and take pictures, and that's it. Yeah, because I'm like, I don't really like driving. It's not the same because you have to actively do it. But the train, oh yeah.
Yes. We're taking the train to New England. Oops, we're taking the train to New England for the fourth this year. So we're not
So
doing like the
cool.
the pop-up like the
Yeah,
whole New England tour like I want to. I think that's going to be my birthday trip next year because I've already planned it out. So I know the
that's
spots that I
smart.
want to hit
Mm-hmm.
and I know how
Mm-hmm.
much it's going to cost. And it's not that, like, it is not that expensive.
No,
It is
no,
to
truly.
catch the train. First of all, 13 hours is not that bad. And to start,
No.
like, if you start in Vermont and then come down, and then get
Yeah.
off, spend a couple days here, get back on the
Mm-hmm.
train, go to the next one. It's only like 3 or 4 hours away, spend a
Yeah.
couple days. Like
It's not
that is,
bad.
oh my gosh. And don't even talk to me about having hotel rewards points because
Yeah.
you can use
Oh, you
that
got
anywhere.
it. It's luxury. Yeah. That's a life train. They gotta do a train movie. I'm just thinking about that now.
You done started
uh,
something. We got, okay, it's two
mm.
scoops of Italy. So so talk to me about the romance and the chemistry between our two leads. What did you
Okay.
think about it?
So it takes a while to develop. That
Mm-hmm.
caught me off guard because I think it'd be very easy to fall in love with Miss Hunter King. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what's going on. I think about the professional bridesmaid, her and
Chandler,
Mr. Massey,
hello.
and then Santa Summit. She just looks at Mr. Hollingsworth and she's taken. That's all it takes anyway. So this movie takes a little bit, and I'm like, sir, do you not have eyes? What's the problem? I was thinking about her hair in this movie. It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the outfits in this movie are really good. I was really
Mm-hmm.
impressed. I was like, Amazon Prime has this like X-ray thing where you can like see, the actors and whatnot in each scene. And sometimes they'll do clothing, especially if it's their own original productions. And I wish they did it because I wanted to know some of the stuff that he was wearing. There's this like olive green suit. I said, sir, let me cop that. I don't know if that's Brooks Brothers. I don't know where he got it from.
Whoa.
A linen olive green suit. That is all to say. This man had this incredulous curl. He
Come
had
on,
this one
word.
single curl that would just like pop out. And I said, sir, she's looking at you and you're not seeing it. So it takes them a while to develop, but once they're there, they're there. And
Okay.
I liked it. It was
Yeah.
sweet, it was sensual, it was truly like a bite of gelato. Like you put it in your mouth and you
Ooh.
savor it. Like that's how I describe it. It wasn't like a fast, oh, head over heels. It was
Yeah.
I'm slowly building, I'm
A
working in the
slow saver.
ingredients, and we're
Yeah.
making something special. That was good. I liked it.
Whoa. So what did you feel about the setting? Did the setting contribute? Did it add anything? Did it take away? Was it just right? Like,
Yeah.
how did you feel about the setting for this destination movie?
Yeah. I think the setting was like gorgeous. I like that it was a small town because it's like, hey, first of all, small towns happen everywhere. I think it added to the movie. It became
Hmm.
its own character, right? Like there's a scene where she is reading the book that she finds in her
Hmm.
cottage, and there's an ant. I don't know if it was a mistake in the movie. An ant crawls across the book, and I was like, "Oh, this is like a real place." Like I felt like she
Hmm.
actually lived there. It felt very real
Mm.
instead of like, sometimes you're watching a movie and the set feels sterile, and I'm like, "Oh, this
Yes.
is a setup." Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel lived in, and I'm like, "Oh no, this is
Yes.
a real place." Obviously, because of the destination, they went to go shoot there, so it's
Yeah.
very clear. Um, there's these when they're riding the bikes, there's this like long kind of like row of trees. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I need to be there. And it's just so grand. And the way the light is hitting at the back, I said, this is like one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. The setting, honestly, it might have like been too much. Like it might have been overwhelming because
Mm.
it didn't, I think it might have like overshadowed the rest of the
Hmm.
story of the movie. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I adored the cottage. I thought it was so
Mm.
quaint. It
Mm-hmm.
was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
It it was like Hunter in
Yes.
a
Oh my God.
house
That's such a good
like
analogy. Yeah.
that. When I think about Hunter, everything that that cottage evokes is how I
Mm.
would describe Hunter.
Hmm.
Like so, I loved it. The kitchen, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Well, Joey, okay. What before we go into our ratings, I want to ask,
Hmm.
is there any other thing that you want to highlight from the movie before we give the peoples our crown rating?
That's a good question. Um, I love they have this like little recurring joke about Nico, this little boy who doesn't like
Mhm.
any other
Mhm.
flavors of gelato, which I liked. I love kids. The kiss uh was a plot twist. I was like, oh, it's about to happen right here. And she goes after him. I said, oh, she goes after him. And I liked that it was like right after she was like, I'm not gonna leave without kissing you, sir. And they do a big kiss. I said, okay, this is what I need to see. So it was good. I liked it. I don't, but it's the classic Hallmark where you want more at the end of the movie. Like, do you
Yeah.
end up together? How does it work? And I want
Mhm.
to see her final menu. Like, you spent all this time, all this pressure on her to go find the menu, and
They
we
never
never saw
showed
them.
the fight.
No, no, bitter,
Wow.
bitter. Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna sip my tea
that's
on
what I'm
that.
saying. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, it's kind of like they lost the plot a little bit about the stuff that,
Yeah.
which is fine. The romance is fine, but then make that the focus. You really
Yeah.
want it to be the self-discovery, but
Yeah.
the romance is part of it too.
All right, Dr. Oteng. So,
Hmm.
out of 5 crowns,
Ooh,
what are you rating 2 scoops of Italy?
I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 crowns.
Okay.
3.5 is solid for me.
Yeah.
I think it's an enjoyable movie. I would watch it
Yeah.
again. Um, they got to give my girl Hunter more.
Yeah.
She deserves more. She's always going to be good.
Yeah.
Um, the setting, don't let the setting do the heavy lifting when you
Yeah.
have talent that can contribute to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen a half of the movie, and even the half that I saw, I have to give it a 2. I was just,
Mm,
I think because I couldn't even finish it on the second watch, like,
yeah.
because and I thought about this. I said, okay, so what makes this slow movie different from the other slow movies that you watch?
Hmm.
Because I love Sand Dollar Cove with
Yeah.
Chad Michael Murray and Allison Michalka,
Yeah.
but that one is
Good one.
slow. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I think it was something about the two leads. It was something about the story I was invested in.
Hmm.
And so I think it had to do between something with like there wasn't a spark at the beginning with the
Hmm.
leads, and
Yes.
then literally much to what you said. And then I wasn't invested a lot into her backstory. So it's just
Hmm.
like I just felt like, oh, I'm here. But I
Hmm.
don't know why I'm here, you know?
Correct. Oh, that's
So
such a good, yeah, that's a good
yeah,
way to put it.
I would
Why
have
am I here?
to give that one a 2. But
Absolutely.
yeah, well, thank you so much, Joey, for joining me here on this episode of Dear
Absolutely. It's been an
Hallmark.
honor and a pleasure.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. So, before I let you go, I'm gonna let
Okay.
you have the last words here. You could say, even though I didn't interview you, you're still a guest, and so I still want to just let you have the last words here. You can tell people where to follow you on social media, but you can also just leave
Mm,
words of encouragement. You can talk about Malta, honey,
mm.
cheese, olives, gelato, whatever it is you want to talk about. I'm gonna just let you have it in this moment.
Mm. That's a good sentiment. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much. I adore you. I love you dearly, unconditionally, wildly, boldly, through and through. Like, every time I talk to you, I always feel like, oh my, like this person has been part of my life for the entirety of it, and it's so clear. So I'm grateful for you. Um, I'm on social media. I'm at Dr. Joteng. It's DrJotengii. So Dr. Joteng the second. Um, and yeah, I post everything about education, history, having fun, being 30 and handsome, all those kinds of things. But the words I'll leave you all with is um, you're braver than you know. You can do more than you think. There's love on the horizon. There's people you've yet to meet, people that you've yet to interact with, people who have yet to experience you that are going to love you. And I think that's so deeply hopeful through and through, whether it be in these movies, in life, or beyond. There's hope, there's love on the horizon, and you are braver than you know. Be brave, if only for a second. That's all it takes. Yeah.
I didn't ask you to preach, sir. I didn't ask you to give a benediction. So
Oh
no,
my
I'm just like,
goodness.
I'm just like, thank you so much, Joey. And thank you to all of you who are listening or watching via YouTube or podcast. You can find Joey's socials in the podcast notes or in the description, depending on where you're watching or listening to this. And as always, my name is Dara, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Ciao, my friends.